5 a day and that.
Yeah, exactly. Right, let me get myself.
You don't eat much anyway, really, do you? At least I don't see you eat much, rather.
Nah, I don't eat loads, but I'm a bit of a fuck of a chocolate.
Aye.
I absolutely love chocolate, mate.
Yeah.
I can, or digestives. I will smash a pack of digestion at 10 p.m. on a night with a cup of tea.
Yeah, I'm a fiend for fucking biscuits and shit at night.
Yeah, mate, it's hard work, innit?
It's proper hard
You've got to eat the pack, don't you, when you open it?
That's it, mate.
You can't just leave half a pack out.
Like it's rough, like, but you feel rough after. Yeah.
Yeah, you notice it the next day as well.
After this conversation, I'm going to go home and just grind a full packet of custard cream.
As soon as I get home, I'll get some bourbons. Anyway, what do you want to talk about?
So I don't know, because I kind of wanted to talk about my dough that I made at home.
Okay, yeah.
But I also have been wondering, because you've spoken recently about a new venture that I want to talk about on this.
Yeah.
And it kind of got me thinking about your G's Pizza days. Oh no, you came up with that name.
I'll tell you what.
We'll tell you now. So we'll talk about talk about your pop-up and that, because pop-up's quite relevant in pizza to a lot of people, especially now, and people are constantly opening up pop-ups. So yeah. Let's talk about that, and let's talk about how you came up with the name.
So G's Pizza. So I think you met my friend Jake a few times.
No, I've never met Jake. No.
Oh, okay. So Jake's my friend since we were that big, since we were kids, and he always we played football together.
Right.
And we there was one day he was getting sick of. I was right back, he was centre back, and he was just getting sick of like Adam, and everyone used to call me like Gardner at football, and he was getting sick of how long it took to say it. He wanted like a sharp, quick thing to say, so he just went G. Because he used to call me Gardner, so it was just G. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, so I passed him the ball. And then he started doing it, and it worked in football. And then he just continued to call me G always. And now, now we're adults, he doesnn't call me G.
Does he not?
He does sometimes, every now and again. But it was more in our teenage years and maybe early 20s. That was he would never call me Adam. And now he just calls me swear words. So, but G was for maybe, I don't know, probably best part of a decade. He called me. He only called me that. I'm terrible at naming things. I'm not good at naming new pizzas. I'm not good at naming restaurants and stuff like that. So I didn't know what to do. Got chatting with friends, and he just call it G's Pizza. It's simple, it's quick, and that was it. G's Pizza stuck, and we stayed on G's Pizza. Then that was just to do pop-ups, just to get going. And it's more so just to get a name for yourself. Like I couldn't call it Adam G Pizza. That wouldn't have been strange having that on a banner, Adam G Pizza. So it was just a way to get your name in some form or another on a banner, on a market, and people can say it, and then, oh, you heard about G's Pizza, blah, 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 blah. And because I'm from a small town, you kind of that news like that travels pretty fast. So it was just something that people could say and know who we are, where we were, and what we were doing. Yeah. So that's how the name came about.
So, fair enough. So, okay, let's talk about why you chose a pop-up. Because you were a head chef at Bert and Agnes Hall. Yeah. So you were fucking pumping out a lot of pizza. Yeah. You were doing a lot of hours. So why did you go down the pop-up route? That sounds like what a terrible decision. I'm actually curious why you went down that route and maybe just save up for a premises.
So the first thing I'll say is pop-ups, I think, are a terrible idea. The hard work, the grueling work.
Did you think that before you went into it?
No, I knew they were hard work. Like you said, I was at Bert and Agnes. I'll give you a little bit of context. So I was a manager there when I was young. I was there a long time, and I was the head chef there. And Olivia, one of the owners, wanted to do pizza. I don't know, maybe 11 years ago now, and I was already making a lot of bread. So it kind of felt like the natural thing to do was to add this new sector to our catering there. So they kitted out a trailer, and we started making pizza. I fell in love with that straight away, and that's kind of the rest is almost history from that. And that's too much of a long story to get into. But you kind of fast forward the years, we were building a reputation up at Bert and Agnes. People were coming for the pizza. I was getting good at it, and it was kind of getting known what we were doing there. And then COVID hit, and luckily we could get things fired back up really fast. We shut down for 4 weeks, and we got things going again because there's so much outdoor space there. So then pizza went even more crazy because that's the only thing we could sell. We couldn't open up any of the internal catering areas, so it was just this pizza trailer, and it was madness, and it was good fun. But when COVID kind of hit, it kind of gave me a snap in my head that cliche thing: life is short, you just got to do it. And I always wanted to have a restaurant of some form, whether that was in the type of food I was cooking when I was 18 or pizza later on the line. So I just thought, well, there's no point in waiting. I'm just going to start doing things, doing whatever I can, whatever spare time I've got. So I started on. There was a B&B that they wanted someone to cater for them.
Right.
So I started doing that and just popping up there and selling pizza when they'd have like 12 to 20 guests.
Yeah.
They were like quite known for hen groups and stag groups and big birthday gatherings. It wasn't so much like groups of twos.
Yeah.
It was always like groups of 12 to 20.
Yeah.
So I'd do that maybe once a fortnight, sometimes once a week. And then I
kind of like they kind of turned out to be like almost like a little residency there.
Almost, yeah. And it was outdoor as well, so I could pop my rock boxes up and get going. And that was good fun. And then a few people asked me to do the scene on social media. So can you do like a christening, a birthday? So I said yeah. So all summer I just pop up in people's gardens, and that was great. It was really good fun. I enjoyed it because it's controlled. You know what you're selling. You know how much you're charging as well. You know how much money you're making. Yeah. And then I thought, right, okay, we'll go markets now. And that was where things kind of got a lot more difficult because you don't know how many you're selling. Yeah. I remember my first few markets, I didn't sell very many. Yeah. And then maybe the third one, bam, sold out in like 40 minutes. Right. Everything I had. So I had maybe 60, 70 dough balls and they were just gone in like 45 minutes. 2 rock boxes, done. And then the guys in the market were super pissed off. Why? Because they didn't want me to sell out. They wanted to keep it running because it's good for their market.
Oh, those guys in the market, right? Okay.
Yeah, the
fellow traders.
No, the traders were sound. They were great. They were good people. But anyway, I kept doing it, and it was always up and down. The kind of name got out, and some weeks I'd sell out super fast, and then next week, you might just get hit, especially on the East Coast. You might get hit with like some wind or something that just kills a market. And then you might sell, I was maybe selling 30, 40 pizzas. And then the next week, you could be tripling the amount you'd made the previous week and selling out super fast.
So did that balance out in the end, or did it never really balance out that well?
Profitability wise?
Yeah.
I don't think the markets really made me any money, in all honesty. I think they did. They made me money, but it's a hard one because I was also balancing at the same time the little residency thing that I was doing, and I was still doing things in people's gardens, and that was where I was making the most money. And that was what kept that going. It meant I could invest in more equipment. I got more rock boxes and better setups, and the market was more for fun, and kind of getting into that world a little bit as well. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. The markets I did them for 1 season, and then after that I thought I'm not going to do the markets anymore. And then I did that for maybe 2 years along the side of Bert and Agnes. Right. The other thing as well that was difficult for me was I always prioritised Bert and Agnes. Yeah. And it was what I said to Sam and Olivia, the owners at Bert and Agnes, was I'm going to do this for myself, but I will always prioritise Bert and Agnes.
So did you go to them first to speak to them before you did?
Yeah, of course I did. Yeah. They'd spent. I'd been there 13 years. 14 when I left. And I wasn't going to do something that if they didn't want me to do it. But luckily they did. They were super. What's kind of the word? Supportive for me to expand and do what was good for my own progression. And but that meant I was doing Tuesday markets. I was never doing a Saturday market.
Right. Okay. That's gonna impact things a little bit. Yeah.
Because I was always at Bert and Agnes on the weekend, and I didn't want to stop doing that. And then it kind of just prioritised in the wrong way as such. So I would do pop-ups on a Saturday night, and that was when I would do the more residency things, and I would go to somebody's garden and do a birthday. Yeah. And great fun. I learned a lot about pizza. I learned a lot about yeast and dough management and how to keep your dough and also balance out because you don't know if you're going to go on a Saturday night in August. It might be 20 degrees, it might be 18 degrees, it might be 26 degrees. So you've got to learn how to balance your dough, and it taught me a lot about that. And I was doing everything at room temp. Yeah. I kitted out my garage. I turned that into just basically a whitewashed kitchen. So I could get my home assessed, and I didn't have loads of fridges in there. I had a fridge for my stock, but not for my dough. So everything was room temp. And if I was going to Bert and Agnes on the Saturday daytime, it meant I had to have all my dough ready 4 a.m. on the Saturday morning. Then I go to Bert and Agnes, I do my shift there, I'd go home and collect my gear, and then go and do the pop-up. So I had to make sure that dough could last at room temperature all day in my garage and manage that potential, like I said in August, that potential curve of 18 degrees when you wake up, 25, 26 degrees, and then back around again. So
and I guess in your garage it was probably more impacted by the weather because it's not as insulated as maybe somewhere else in your own house.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I did quite a good job of kitting it out. I put a load of insulation in it as I was boarding it out. And, it does hold its stand quite well. But you still do need to balance and manage that, of course. But it's actually better than my house.
Oh, really? You just set up in there, didn't it?
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, I can't remember what your question was, but that was kind of a bit of detail on what the poppers were for me.
So then that kind of, one thing you said there leads me on to another question of like, because I asked you about how like one weekend might balance out the next weekend in terms of profit, like bad weather, good weather, or non-sellout, just people not turning up and too many people turning up to so that kind of leads me on to ask about sort of, so I asked about profit, and I'm wondering if, like, let's say you make financial profit, how do you cost that against your time, like, to make it worth it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you do.
Because you're like, I made money, but how many hours went into that, basically? I went the long way around asking that, but...
It's going to be an answer that probably most people don't really connect with, but I've never done anything for money. And that was... Yeah. So to answer that, the best way that I can is that I'd never tracked my time against the if I went somewhere and I didn't sell anything, I didn't see that as a knock.
Right.
Because I was learning. I knew that I had to put those years in to learn. I wanted a restaurant. I wanted to do the restaurant. Seeing, and that was always been my goal since I was 18. That was always my goal. But I knew I needed to put the years in the time in, and this was me putting the time in. This was me learning. It was me failing and succeeding. I've learned far more from every failure than I have anything that I succeeded in. So that day that I sold out, what did I learn from that? Well, to be honest, not a great lot. But the days where I failed and where something went wrong, you know, when for example, when it was maybe my third or fourth pop-up and one of my rock boxes burners didn't work.
Right.
So I had to run it on one, and it was a really good weather day as well. I was like, okay, it's going to slow me down. So then I had to learn, you know, what to do. And instead of actually just thinking I'm just going to run on one, I spent the next 30 minutes fixing the burner. And I fixed the burner, and I can't remember what was wrong with it now. But I got it working again. I knew I had a little bit of time before the market kicked off. And so that's kind of the point I'm trying to make there is the things that you learn. Was far more valuable than any of the money that came along with it. And don't get me wrong, overall it was profitable. Like I said, doing the controlled events, the birthdays, the christenings, the residences, all relatively controlled, and you know how much money you're going to make, you know how many pizza, you know how many dough balls to make, and you know how many pizzas you're going to sell, and it's easy to do, and especially if your product's good, then people want you back, and you're back again. And it's the markets was the hard one. So if I balanced one out from the other, what I tried to do was make sure that I had one, birthday party to do, that I knew how many pizzas I was going to sell. It was already pre-agreed, and then maybe go on the market. So then it didn't really matter if I didn't make any money on that market. And then what I did, any leftover dough balls, I would take them home and I cook at home. And I just have some friends around and we'll make some pizza and I'd enjoy it. It doesn't cost a lot to do a pop-up stock-wise. Because you're not going with 500 dough balls. No. You're not going to try and sell 500 pizzas. You're going to, I always aim between 60 and 100. That was my target to sell that many pizzas, and I would say on most of them I did. It was just again, if a storm hit or something happened and you've prepped the night before, and monitoring the weather. It's super important, and deciding. Knowing not to go to that market just because you wanna. Super important. I went to too many thinking that's because I want to go. I get that. I was excited. It was good fun, and that's kind of the best answer I think I could give.
All right, no, I get that. So okay, it's something you said in there has prompted another question. What do you think you learned from doing that venture over 2 years? Did you say?
Yeah.
What do you think you learned over that time that you maybe wouldn't have learned at Burton Agnes or didn't learn at Burton Agnes, if there is anything? Or at least what's the most important thing you learned from it?
What did I learn? I would say, it's quite difficult actually, because to say what I learned is different. Because at Burton Agnes I had quite a lot of, I suppose responsibility and trust. So I always did my job at Burton Agnes like I was doing it for myself. I really cared about the place. So when I moved into doing it for myself, it kind of felt very similar. So I would say the biggest thing that I would have learned would have been doing something for yourself, and you know, needing to make sales to make sure that the money you spent, you know, isn't just money down the drain. That's an important thing to learn. But I was already doing that at Better Magnets. I felt it when I made a loss. I felt it when I didn't make a profit, and when there was a bad day and I'd made a mistake. So it's kind of quite hard to say what I learned more from doing it for myself, because I already had that mindset in my job. So I'd say not a lot.
Okay. Right.
I'd probably learned how to operate single ovens, which is something I didn't learn at Better Magnets.
You would fire oven and you went straight to rock boxes, which is a different beast, isn't it?
Of course it is, and it's all right making 2 or 3 pizzas at home. Anybody can do that. But when you're putting 60, 70, 80 pizzas through them, you soon realise how
what is that like? I've always wondered myself, because I've never really put more than 6 through, I think, in one rock box in the space of, well, however long it took me to do it. So I had 6 maxing at one tray, and that's all I've ever put through it. So I've always wondered what it's like to put that many through them. How do they cope with it, and how's the stone cope? And
it's the best fun you'll ever have in your life. Putting a lot, just getting tickets, and you've only got your rock boxes to rely on. It is the best, probably the best fun you'll ever have, because it's super stressful. But them ovens are just unbelievable. It took me a while to learn the stone retention. At home, you can't monitor the stone retention, because you make a pizza, then you're chatting with your friends or your family, and you're not timing the time in between to get that stone back up. So I started on 2. It wasn't enough. As the reputation grew and we did get busier, it wasn't enough, so we had to increase our together rock box, just so we could rotate 1, 2, 3.
So that's how you did it.
Yeah, that's how I did it. I just worked down. I would take 2, I would take 3, and I'd have 2 on the go, and then as soon as the queue started to build, I was like, right, okay, we're going to be in this now for 2-3 hours. I get the 3rd one fired up, and go, so we could just run down. I always preferred having 2, because it's easy to manage. It's you get 2 pizzas in, and you're just turning, but 3 meant you could just turn your queue faster. And it's important on the market to do that. On pop-ups, I only ever took 2. On like the birthdays, and controlled pizza making, I would only ever take 2. You only need it. But when you've got tickets flying in, the rock box on the go, it's like playing the piano. You just up and down, up and down, up and down, and you're kind of working your way through the rock boxes.
I think I've always wondered how difficult it would be, because even just baking a couple in the rock box, like, you can't take your eye off for very long at all.
No, you can't.
Like that burner at the back's hot, and it's like fucking like centimeters from the pizza. So you have to keep your eye on it. So I imagine doing that at a market would be quite difficult.
It was at first.
A lot.
At first, and then it got easy. At first, I was running low flame. Because I needed to. While I got used to the pace of putting them through, and then by the time a few months in, and I got used to them, I just had them on full flame all the time. And it was just going for it, and it was like kind of just second nature. One went in, second one went in, third one went in, and then you just start rotating 1, rotate 2, rotate 3, and in the rock box you're done so quick. A few rotations and your pizza's back out and the customer's gone again.
So in your experience then, right? Do you think you could use a rock box in a market setup, let's say, with any other pizza other than Neapolitan classic?
For sure.
To like manage that because it bakes so quickly. You have to keep your eye on it, and kind of I imagine you need to keep it on high flame to keep that stone retention. So I'm wondering if you could do any other pizza really with that much turnover in that little.
Anything other than Canotto.
Anything other than Canotto?
Anything that's not going to get a big crush reaction, just because it's a small oven and they burn too fast. That's it. Canotto pizzas aren't the best in rock boxes. They are if you're just watching it all the time and gently turning it and moving it around. But if you've got to take your eye off the oven to take an order or to serve another pizza or cut a pizza up, that pizza's going to burn. I found Neapolitan was always the best classic Neapolitan pizza.
I think that's what it was designed for, wasn't it? Really, that's how he built and engineered it.
Built on 90-second bakes and classic Neapolitan pizza. But I think New York, Romana, you could do. You probably need to, bake on a little bit of a lower heat. You could do it 100%. You just need to learn some timings, but it's not my area of expertise on putting 60 Tonda Romanas through a rock box, or 60 New Yorkers. But I know about putting a load of Neapolitan pizzas through a rock box.
Okay, so another question: what was the final decision? Like, what was the final cut off for you to say, I'm gonna stop doing this. And why, like, the wife?
Quite the opposite actually. Faye's always been a push, do what I want to do, and she gets my mindset. It's just non-stop really.
Yes.
It wasn't any intervention of friends and family. It was myself, because I made myself a bit ill.
Right.
I did too much. I burnt the candle at both ends too much, and it's quite hard when you love your job and when you really want to do something for yourself, and when you're young and you've got the energy to do it, you think you can take on the world and do it. And that was the mindset I had until I was probably about, I don't know, maybe 20, 27, 28. You know, I could just do everything. Didn't mind, like 2-3 hours sleep a night. I did that pretty much until I was probably till about 28, 29, which is dangerous, not good. And yeah, just that burnout did happen. It was when I went on holiday. It was when I stopped. I went abroad for a family wedding, and I didn't feel great. Everything hit me at once.
Yeah.
And, you ever had vertigo in your life? You know, you never want it again once you get it. And that's the only one time I've had it.
Right.
And everything just hit me, just wiped me out. And then I came back after the holiday and thought I need to reevaluate my life decisions. And I need to think about. I want to keep doing this stuff, and I want to keep pushing hard, but I need to do it smarter.
Right.
So that was a decision to stop running everything and just pick and choose. So I stopped the markets, because they're the ones that made probably. They have the option to make you the most money and the least.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that I cut.
Yeah.
And the hard work, because you've got to be there at 6 in the morning, because they want you set up and your car's gone by 7 a.m. So you've got to get there nice and early, set up, and then you're waiting around for 2-3 hours, because no one wants a pizza at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
I kind of went through a phase of doing bacon sandwiches in the morning. I wasn't bothered about that. I wanted to make pizza.
Bacon. I didn't know you went through that phase.
Well, yeah, it's because you've got like 2-3 hours where you're not doing anything. And I hate not doing anything.
Right.
And I'm just there twiddling my thumbs, and it's like, well, nobody wants a pizza until 10, 11 o'clock. But they want, like I said, they want you on there, they want you set up, and your card's gone off the market. Well, where I am anyway, that was the case. So they're the ones I knocked, because I spent 2-3 hours every time I was doing one, not doing anything, waiting for that rush to begin, and then you'd get hammered. And then you'd have your rush, and then if you do sell out quick, you can't get your car back on the market until the market closes to pack down. And so your day begins at, like if you've prepped the night before and made your dough the night before, your day begins at like 5 a.m. and then it doesn't finish until like 7 p.m.
It's a long day, that.
Yeah, it's a long day. Whereas a controlled pop-up in someone's garden or a residency, it's easy, it's quick, and you can go when you're done. You can pack up and you can discreetly get out of the way. Mm-hmm. Much more controlled, and you know how much money you're going to make. Whether that's not as much maybe as the market would have made you, but you know what you're doing. So that's what I did. I cut the markets, and I just did. I just pick and chose what I wanted to do and when to do it, and then I just kind of knuckled down on my learning as well, and I did a lot more at home. Made a lot more pizza at home, and fast forward when I stopped doing them. You fast forward. 4 months, and then the word happened.
So how quick?
I stopped it would have been about the September of 2023.
Right.
Then I went, I went on holiday, enjoyed another holiday and relaxed and recalibrated myself, and I did a bit of city hopping. I went to Italy a few times and ate a lot of pizza in Italy, and I'd now chose to put my time that I had spare into other things. So if I had 2 days off in a week, which was pretty rare, but if I did, I would hop on a plane. They would hop on a plane, and we went to quite a few places in Europe, and we ate pizza, and I ate loads of pizza. And just spent my time learning and and doing that, and that was far more valuable. If you ask me the question what I learned from that would be without time today, because that I learned a lot from doing that, a lot more than I did from physically going and selling pizza.
Definitely,
And then I just kind of put my intentions. I thought, now I know where I am now, and I wanted a building. I wanted a brick and mortar building. So the search began for a brick and mortar building, and fast forward 4 months, and then this place was open again, and the word was a go.
No way. I didn't realise it. I didn't realise they were in that close succession, really. I figured you must have just stopped for quite a while, and then. Do I just happen to happen? Like you weren't searching for it necessarily, you were just talking to Chris or whatever? No,
I was searching. I was actually, down there Fat Badger?
Yes.
I was about to take a place down there. And then me and Chris had been talking. Me and Chris went to Leeds together. We already knew each other just from the industry. And me and Chris gone to Leeds together for, I think it was a Pizza Pilgrims party.
Right.
I think, I can't remember now. And that was where we decided, you know, Chris was done with the restaurant game, and I was coming into the restaurant game, and hence why we made the decision. I bought half of this off Chris and refired Doad. And it made a lot of sense at the time to do that. It was a building that was people wanted to see going again. So we got it going again, and now 3 years later, we're still going, still growing.
Interesting. It was interesting timing, like, I've got to say, for me at least, and it worked out for you as well. But yeah, happy days.
For you, because you moved to York around the time.
I moved to York when it was closed, but Chris hadn't closed it. He'd only pretty much just closed it.
Yeah.
So I'd seen Chris once in the building, just fucking doing whatever Chris was doing. I didn't stare at him. I just seen he was in the building. I seen it was a pizza place. There was bags of flowers in the window. And I'd obviously come from an area that didn't really have many pizza places. I made pizza home, so I was like wanting to try it and that, thinking I was fucking class. And then before I knew it, I seen your Instagram and I'd followed you for a couple of years. I knew it was reopened, so I was fucking buzzing. That's when I got in touch with you straight away.
So it was my first Saturday. I was in here for the first Saturday night when you messaged. Wanting to come and volunteer yourself. Free I was thinking, I can't fit you in my little kitchen on a Saturday night. Someone who don't know what they're doing at the time.
I understand that now. Like,
what was your thought process then when you sent me that message?
What was my thought process?
Why did you, at that point, knowing that I'd only opened the place like a week ago, why did you think, I'm going to try and volunteer?
I figured you just opened a new business. So, you don't just have fucking money to chuck around, I assume. I think that was a sensible thing to assume. Someone who just opens a business.
It's a lot of money to open a restaurant.
I want to fucking learn.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be paid because I've got a wage that's more than satisfactory for me at the time.
Yeah.
So I figured that it was a bit of a barter there, like you've got skills that I want, I've got free labour that you might want, while you're still figuring things out.
If you'd said a Monday night or Tuesday night, I'd have snapped up straight away.
I realised quite quickly after I started here why you wanted to, earlier in the week, because you said I can't do Saturday nights, I just can't, it's too busy, and Friday nights, but I can do Monday and Tuesday, and I couldn't do weeknights really because I had university work, so I was doing like 5-6 nights a week. I was doing my university work after my full-time job in engineering, so it didn't work out at the time. The only night I had spare really was either Friday or Saturday because I didn't want to do uni work on those nights.
That's fair.
So
I wanted to get in the kitchen.
So I wanted to get in the kitchen and use my time wisely. But anyway, this wasn't supposed to turn into about me. It
links actually though, it's because you messaged me in that first week, and then fast forward 9 months when I was looking for another chef, and we'd been obviously communicating in between that time was when you were looking to come into a kitchen, so it all weirdly aligned the way that it aligned. And
it's it's strange though, because I obviously wasn't here at the opening of Doad, but like what you won't know is that before I messaged you, I'd walked past a couple of times, like trying to work up the bottle to come in and ask you to face to face. And I was with Anna one of the times. She was like, "Go in," and I was like, "Fuck it, I don't know." And I was like, and ahhing and up and down. I seen you. It was a time before that I was by myself, and you were sort of still working in the Renault. I think Faye was with you, and I think Chris was in there, and I was like, well, now was definitely not a good time. And then the next time you might have even had like a soft launch or whatever it was, and I walked past with Anna, and you had all your dough on the pizza counter, and I remember it so clearly because I bottled it. And you were oiling it at the time, and I was like watching with like fucking I want that, and I was like, no, he's busy, and Anna was like, he's all right, man, just go and talk to him, and I'm like, no, he's busy, and I bottled it and messaged you instead. But
fair enough.
So I was there from the start in spirit.
And that you made a good choice though on that soft opening. Not to come in, and I was super stressed out. Because I'm not really the type of guy that gets nervous, and I was super nervous. The kind of all of that pressure to go bam into a restaurant. I never felt nerves on doing a pop-up on start, going to a new place, a new residency, to a restaurant. I felt nerves on that soft opening. So when I was making that dough, I was pretty stressed out. Thinking, okay, I want to impress everybody. I wanted to get it right.
Oh, definitely.
And then I'd had no time to test any dough. So the first batch of dough that I made in this building was for the soft opening.
Really?
Yeah, we finished our Renault at midnight the night before.
Did you announce the soft launch like quite a bit before?
Yeah, 28 days. So on New Year's Day was when me and Chris announced that we were partnering up and we were getting Dog Wide going.
Yeah.
And then we announced it. So we had a chat and we were like, okay, a little runner. The place was already in, decent order. It needed a lot of cleaning and it needed decorating. It was all white and orange, and I wanted it, and so did Chris. We wanted it dark, and so we invested quite a lot of time into a little reno. We ripped the old bar out, put the new bar in, and we thought, okay, 2, maybe 3 weeks at max to get this done. So we're like, right, okay. At that time, Bert and Agnes shuts down in January. Every year it shuts down, and it's when I'm used to be doing private catering in the hall there.
Yeah.
That had slowed down massively since COVID hit.
Yeah.
So January is way more of a slowdown month for reorganising. So I had quite a lot of time to, I was still at Bert and Agnes when I opened Dog Wide, but I had quite a lot of time to invest into getting that reno done. So for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah,
Sound? No. Double it, always double it time. The night before midnight, the night before we got done. We were so close to knocking back the soft opening, but I didn't want to, Chris didn't want to. So we just worked really hard to get it done. We were here till midnight, every night from 7 a.m. till midnight every night to get it done, and it was good fun. I learned a lot from that. Learned a lot from renovating a building. And then so that first day was the 28th of January, 27th or 28th. It was my first batch of dough in here. No testing, nothing.
Wow.
Just straight into it. And
were you happy with it? Happy enough with it?
I was all right. It was okay. It was. I remember eating the pizza, thinking I've made better pizza for sure. But it's a good pizza, and it's still a pizza I know people are going to enjoy. Day 2 of the soft launch, really 2 days. Much better. The dough was improved, and it was good, and it was more enjoyable, more relaxed, and it was good. And we only did like 6 hours. We didn't do a 10-hour service. We did like 2 till 8, something like that. But as soon as we opened, we had people in. Was like, right, okay. And then we took a couple of days off, and a few days out of the building, and then officially opened on the 1st of Feb. And then we were fully in the swing of it, and we haven't closed a day since, other than a few days that we closed at Christmas. That's it. We've been 3 years nearly now.
You even managed to open when the extractor fan broke for most of the day.
I know, it broke. Well, I say 3 years. It's not. It feels like 3 years. I know we're only in August. So it's
2.5 years. Isn't it?
Yeah, 2.5 years. Me and Chris, we decided it was around the October time.
Right.
Was when we decided we were going to do it. Chris had already made some agreements with the building for somebody else for December, like for 1 month. So we couldn't do anything until the new year, until December had ended. So for me, it feels like my body clock tells me it's been 3 years, because it has, and I was looking for a place from around June, July. I was looking for a place to take on. I was looking for a lease. I've been looking at places in York, looking at places in Hull. I've been looking all over the place, and York was where I'd landed, where I wanted to be. So I'd been looking all around the city, and it was around October time that me and Chris had decided that October, November, we decided we were going to do that together. So that process is nearly 3 years.
That makes sense. I get that.
But officially we've been open now for 2.5.
Yeah. Nice. Well, it's been a fucking good ride. I've been here for most of it now, so I can actually say that.
Yeah, you say you've been here for most of it now.
Okay, right. I'm gonna close this out.
Yeah. Services began
with one question, which was based on the main topic of the conversation, which is if you had any advice to someone doing a pop-up, like a proper pop-up, not a fucking like a restaurant pop-up, that's it. Like a pizza, classic pizza pop-up with a tent and shit. What would it be if they were going to do it, or if you were thinking about doing it?
Only do it if you love it. Don't do it if you think I've seen people on Instagram doing it and I want to go and do it. Don't do it if you're not trained, if you haven't put the years into learning. Don't do it yet. Do that first. Learn, invest in yourself, invest in time to learn it. Maybe go and get a job in the kitchen, go and learn from people, and then think about doing it. Or if you are super passionate and you think I just want to do it, and go for it, and if you think you can pull it off, do it, go for it. Just be prepared for hard work, and something that's only enjoyable if you're passionate. If you're not passionate, I can't see where the joy is. If you're not passionate about it, I just can't. I've had so many people who I know that aren't passionate doing it. I've had so many conversations with people about it, and I just cannot see how anybody enjoys this world if you're not passionate. Just can't see it. But I think the best thing I can say there is kitchens are better. Go and work in a kitchen. Go and enjoy it. Not everyone needs to do everything for themselves. And this is a strange piece of advice for anyone, especially if they're young. Just go and enjoy it. Get a job and do it. And there's so many people popping up pizza, left, right, and centre. Yeah. And so many are going to be stopping that again in the year. If you love it and you're passionate, cool, do it.
Yeah, I could probably say that's half decent advice, because at least from my perspective, people used to say it to me all the time when I was thinking about leaving. I was wanting to leave, or I was going to leave in the end. Yeah. So why don't you do a pop-up? Why don't you work for yourself? Why don't you start this first? And I just always said to people, I don't know, I think I'm going to love it. I'm pretty sure I'm fucking passionate about it, and this is the one for me, but I want to get into it first. I want to be competent. I want to be, like, if I was ever going to do that, let's say if you say that's a good idea and I'm ever going to do that, I want to work in the place first. First of all, find out if you're passionate about it, because it is going to be hard work. Second of all, get some skills. And third of all, just for the love of pizza, just I don't know, like, it's a hard road, I'd imagine, for people. I always knew I didn't want to do the pop-ups with the tent in the fucking field, but I also knew that if I ever did want to do that, start and get competent first. And they always did.
Yeah, I did the pop
at this time.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Yeah. So off the back of what you said, get competent first, find a restaurant, and see if you actually want to do it. Yeah. Don't see if you want to do it and spending all that money and hours of time on top of your own job. Yeah. To me, that feels backwards. Like, but it might work out for you. But
I think there's a lot of people just nowadays think that, it's gone back to myself, and it's a good road, and it's a profitable road, and it's hard work. It's long hours, it's hard work, and it's only good fun if you're passionate. Let's go back to the time where if you're a chef, work in kitchens, but enjoy it, get to pick up the knife, learn how to make the dough, and not everybody needs to go and sell for themselves on a market. Let's just focus on good chefs in good places making good pizza. Get a job.
It's all about the pizza. Pizza comes first, mate. We want good pizza out there in the world.
Good pizza, we don't want mediocre stuff. For sure.
But go for it if you want to.
I'm not trying to stifle
I know one about me as well, mate. I'm saying the same exact thing. Like, don't let us talk you out of it.
But also, heed the advice from people who've done it. People have been there, and everyone's going to give you different advice.
That's why I wanted to ask you, like, as someone who's done it. I went down the route of the restaurant and wanting to work with someone and get better at it. And you did that first, to be fair, and then went into a pop-up, and you're still saying the same thing. So, Cool.
Let's go make some pizza.
Yeah, sound.